Hi everyone, myself Vallirani, Assistant Professor in Physics in Ramchandra College of Engineering. In this video, we will study Fraunhofer diffraction due to double slit. Before going to discuss about diffraction at double slit, let's talk about objectives and outcomes of diffraction of light. Let's see. The objective of diffraction of light is learning about theories of light, the diffraction grating, and the resolving power of optical instruments. Now let's see outcomes of diffraction of light. On successful completion of this diffraction video, the student should able to gain knowledge on various theories of light, and he acquires skills to identify and apply formulas of optics and wave physics. He able to understand the applications of diffraction, and the student should able to understand the resolving power of different optical instruments. These are the outcomes of the diffraction of light. Now let's see the Fraunhofer diffraction at a double slit. Here, first we know what is diffraction. It is basically the bending of light waves at the edges of an obstacle, and that are calling as diffraction. According to Fraunhofer diffraction, the incident wavefront must be plane. Here, the wavefront is required for this type of diffraction is plane or parallel. It is possible only when both the source and screen are effectively far from the slits. That is, the source is placed at infinite distance from the slit, so that the wavefront reaching the slit and screen can be considered as a plane wave. That is, the extended source of used in case of Fraunhofer diffraction, and the source is placed at infinite distance from the slit. Here it is also called far field diffraction. To fulfill this requirement, here lens will be required. By using these lenses, the incident light is a plane or parallel, and diffracted beam is focused on the screen like this. Let us try to understand the diffraction at a double slit with the help of this diagram. Here, AB and CD are two parallel slits of equal width E. That is, the width of the slit AB is same as the width of the slit CD, which are separated by a distance D. Separated by a distance D, and this distance D is called the width of the obstacle. Now here, the combined width of the slit and obstacle is E plus D. The combined width of the slit and obstacle is E plus D. And here, the center of the slit is called corresponding point. The center of the slit is called corresponding point, or midpoint of the slit is called corresponding point. The distance between two corresponding points is also denoted by E plus D. Distance between midpoints of the two slits or corresponding points of the two slits is also denoted by E plus D, and the combined width of the slit and obstacle, which is denoted by E plus D. Next, now a parallel beam of monochromatic light of wavelength lambda is incident normally on these two slits AB and CD. The light diffracted from these slits is focused on the screen and produced a diffraction pattern like this. In this diffraction pattern, in this diffraction pattern produced by these two slits contains interference pattern by two slits, and diffraction pattern by single slit. That is, the diffraction at two slits is the combined effect of diffraction as well as interference, like this. Here we observe the resultant diffraction pattern on the screen. First we see the central maxima. It contains interference pattern also. In central maxima we will observe alternate bright and dark fringes called interference pattern. Now we will see the first order maximas on either side of central maxima also contains interference pattern. We will observe in first order maxima alternate bright and dark fringes like this. That is, the pattern on the screen is diffraction pattern due to single slit, and the interference pattern produced by two slits separated by distance E plus D. But according to Huygens wave theory, each point of AB and CD sends out secondary wavelets in all directions. All these secondary waves traveling in a direction focused at O, and this O corresponds to the position of central maxima or principal maxima, like this. Now let us see what happened to light rays which are traveling with the deviation theta, What happened? The light rays which are travel with the deviation. So from here the light rays travel like this with a deviation of theta when these light rays are focused at point O0 on the screen. So now whether the point O dash is bright or dark will depends upon the path difference between these two light waves which are deviated with an angle theta. Here the waves going from the first slit has a certain path length, and the waves going from second slit having certain path length, and there exists a path difference between these two waves. Whenever the light bend with some angle theta, then the path difference will exist between these two light rays. In order to calculate the path difference, as usual, we can draw a perpendicular from A to C called as E. The angle of deviation is theta. Here the angle of deviation is theta, and this perpendicular line gives immediately the path difference between these two light rays. Here the second diffracted light ray travel excess path CE than the first diffracted light ray. Now to find the path difference CE, you can apply sine function to this particular triangle ACE. To find the path difference CE, you can apply sine function to this particular triangle ACE. Now let us see how to find the path difference between these two diffracted light rays. Here the path difference between these two diffracted light rays, we can apply the sine function to this particular triangle ACE. Sin theta is equal to CE by AC. Here CE is equal to AC sin theta. CE is equal to AC sin theta. Here AC is the combined width of the slit and obstacle, that is denoted by E plus D. Now substitute this value in this. AC is equal to width of the slit and obstacle E plus D sin theta. This E plus D sin theta gives the path difference between the waves diffracted from two neighboring slits. Next, whenever the light ray diffracted at theta, then there exists a phase difference between these two waves. Now let us see. The phase difference can be calculated as follows. The phase difference is equal to 2 pi by lambda into path difference. Here the path difference is e plus d sine theta. Here beta is equal to pi by lambda e plus d sine theta gives the phase difference between the waves diffracted from two neighboring slits. Next, now we have to calculate whether the point O dash is bright or dark. O dash is bright or dark. So to find the intensity at O dash, for this we will find out the resultant intensity at any point on the screen at a double slit experiment. For this, first we find out the amplitude of the beam diffracted from these two slits. Here amplitude of the two slits of the diffracted light rays from these two slits. Now we will find out the resultant intensity at any point on the screen. Let's see the resultant intensity for the secondary wavelets at a double slit. Here the secondary wavelets from each slit has amplitude A and angular frequency omega, and their corresponding displacements are y1 is equal to a sine omega t and y2 is equal to a sine omega t plus phi. Here y1, which gives the displacement of the wave diffracted from first slit, and y2 gives the displacement of the diffracted wave from second slit. Here these two waves travel with the phi phase difference. Now we can apply the principle of superposition to these two expressions. We will get resultant amplitude. According to principle of superposition, the algebraic sum of displacements of the individual waves, which gives the displacements of the resultant wave, that displacement gives the amplitude. Now we apply the principle of superposition to these two expressions. We will get resultant amplitude of the beam diffracted from two slits. Here R is equal to 2 into A cos beta. Here A is the amplitude of the wave diffracted from single slit. It is already found in single slit experiment. That is, A is equal to A naught sine alpha by alpha, which gives the amplitude of the beam diffracted at a single slit. And here cos beta gives the interference term. Here beta is the phase difference between the waves diffracted from two slits. Now we find out the intensity at any point on the screen. Here intensity is square of the amplitude. Here the resultant intensity I is equal to square of the amplitude. The square of the amplitude is equal to 2 square 4 A naught sine alpha by alpha whole square, A naught square sine alpha by alpha whole square, and cos beta whole square. So this expression gives the resultant intensity at any point on the screen at a double slit experiment. Here the resultant intensity depends on two factors. One is A naught sine alpha by alpha, which gives the diffraction pattern due to single slit, and the second term cos square beta, which gives the interference pattern due to light waves of the same amplitude from two slits. This resultant intensity at any point on the screen given by product of these two factors. These two factors are explained as follows. Here in the resultant intensity distribution at a double slit, we observe the combined effect of interference and diffraction. Here we first find out the conditions for interference maxima and minima. Now you can see condition for interference maxima. The term cos square beta gives the set of equidistinct dark and bright fringes due to interference. Hence, the cos square beta is equal to 1, we will get maximum intensity in the interference pattern. This is the condition for maximum intensity in interference pattern. Here cos square beta is equal to 1 in the above intensity expression, we get maximum intensity. Cos square beta is equal to 1, it happens when beta is equal to plus or minus n pi. Beta is equal to plus or minus n pi. Here beta is the phase difference between the two waves. The phase difference is pi by lambda into e plus d sin theta. Substitute this value and simplify, we get e plus d sin theta is equal to plus or minus n pi, n lambda. That is, e plus d sin theta gives the path difference between the waves diffracted at two slits. So, the path difference between the waves diffracted from two slits is equal to integer multiple of wavelength, we get maximum intensity in interference pattern. Here the range of n is 1, 2, 3 and so on. Here n is equal to 1, it gives the first order maxima. N is equal to 2, it gives the second order maxima. N is equal to 3, it gives the third order maxima and so on. Here n is equal to 1, then path difference is lambda. That is, the two waves traveling with the lambda path difference, then the two waves or interfere constructively. As a result, we will get maximum intensity. And here n is equal to 2. That is, the path difference between the waves diffracted from two slits is 2 lambda. Then the two waves traveling destructively, interfere destructively. As a result, interference constructively. As a result, we will get maximum intensity and so on. So, in interference pattern, we will get maxima when the path difference is integer multiple of wavelength. And now, let's see the condition for interference minima. Here, the maximum intensity will occur in interference pattern at lambda, 2 lambda, 3 lambda. In between these values, we will get minimum intensity in interference pattern. Here lambda, 2 lambda, in between the value 3 lambda by 2, we will get minimum intensity. The path difference is odd multiples of half wavelength, we will get minimum intensity in interference pattern. Okay, so these are the conditions for maxima and minima in interference pattern. Now let us see how to derive the conditions for diffracted maxima and minima. Here first we will see the condition for diffraction central maxima. The diffraction term sin alpha by alpha whole square gives the central maxima in the direction theta is equal to alpha is equal to 0 or theta is equal to 0. The diffraction pattern, the diffraction term sin alpha by alpha gives the central maxima in the direction theta is equal to 0. Here theta is equal to 0, then E sin theta is equal to 0. That is, the path difference between the waves diffracted at a single slit is travel with equal paths, and we will get central maxima on the screen. And now let us see diffraction, condition for diffraction minima. This diffraction pattern having secondary maxima and minima of decreasing intensities on either side. The minima are obtained in the direction sin alpha is equal to 0. Here alpha is equal to plus or minus m pi. Here alpha has some value pi by lambda into a sin theta, e sin theta. Substitute this value and simplifying we get e sin theta is equal to plus or minus m lambda. Here e sin theta represents the path difference between the waves diffracted at a single slit. Here the path difference between the waves diffracted at single slit is integer multiple of wavelength. We will get minimum intensity in diffraction pattern. The range of m is 1, 2, 3 and so on. Here m is equal to 1. The two diffracted light rays, traveling with path difference lambda, then they are superimposed with each other and produce minimum intensity. This is the condition for minimum intensity in diffraction pattern. So path difference is odd multiples of half wavelength. We will get minimum intensity in diffraction pattern. Here the range of m is 1, 2, 3 and so on. Here m is equal to 1. That is the two waves diffracted at a single slit travelled with the path difference lambda, then we will get minimum intensity. Here m is equal to 2, then path difference is 2 lambda, then we will get second minima on the diffraction pattern. So this is the condition for minima of diffraction pattern. Here m is equal to 0. Then we will get e sin theta is equal to 0. So e sin theta is equal to 0 represents the waves diffracted from two slits is travelling equal paths. So equal paths without deviation they are travelling and reaching on the center of the screen will produce principal maxima or central maxima. That's why here m not equal to 0. If m is equal to 0, it directly gives the condition for central maxima. Okay. So this is the condition for minimum intensity in diffraction pattern. Now we will see the condition for diffraction secondary maxima. In diffraction pattern, between the two dark fringes there will be a bright fringe exist. Hence, the secondary maxima obtained at alpha is equal to plus or minus 3 pi by 2, plus or minus 5 pi by 2, plus or minus 7 pi by 2 and so on. It will give the odd multiples of half wavelength. In the diffraction pattern, we will get maximum intensities, minimum intensities at pi, 2 pi, 3 pi and so on. In between these values, we will get minimum intensity, secondary maximas 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, 7 pi by 2 and so on. That is, the path difference between the waves diffracted from single slit is odd multiples of half wavelength, then we will get secondary maximas in diffraction pattern. So the range of m is 1, 2, 3 and so on. Here m is equal to 1, we will get path difference 3 lambda by 2, then the two waves or interfere constructively, we will get secondary maximas at that point. Here m is equal to 2, path difference between the waves diffracted from single slit is 5 lambda by 2, then we will get third maxima, second order maxima on both sides of the central maxima. So here the condition for diffraction secondary maxima is the path difference between the waves diffracted from single slit is odd multiples of half wavelength. We will get secondary maximas in diffraction pattern. Next. Now we will see intensity distribution of Fraunhofer diffraction at a double slit. The intensity distribution curves for diffraction at a double slit. At a double slit experiment, on the screen we will observe the combined effect of interference and diffraction. Here it is the interference curve and outer curve represents diffraction curve. So this is the combination of interference and diffraction. This curve represents, the interference curve represents the variation of intensity with respect to beta. This gives the interference fringes, and the outer curve gives this curve represents the variation of intensity with alpha, which gives the diffraction fringes. This total graph shows the combined effect of diffraction and interference. So this is the intensity distribution curve for Fraunhofer diffraction at a double slit. So this is the complete detailed explanation about Fraunhofer diffraction due to double slit. Thank you.